Hi everybody, Darth Bunyan here, and today we're going to be talking about The Mandalorian Season 3, Episode 2. And I cannot stress enough how much I like this episode. This is like the second time I'm recording this, because the first time I did it, I wasn't quite happy with my review, and I was like, there's some things I need to double check on. Because like the first time I kind of felt like Din was kind of nerfed a little bit, but he wasn't, like, because I thought, oh, they've just, like, he had his badass moments. Do you know what I mean? So this is what I mean. So I've rewatched the episode because I rewind a lot as well. By the time I get to the end, sometimes I forget like what I've seen at the start. So yeah, he had his badass moments. He then got tranquilized, and then we saw everybody's badass moments. So that's one reason. And just generally, I just thought I should do better and try again. So here we are. Love the episode. Grogu's moment felt so Jim Henson-y, which just for me brings it right back to the original series, and just why you love it in the first place. You know what I mean? It's like a serious drama, like with a lot going on, but there's also a lot of comedy going on as well to kind of lighten everything. It's great. It just warms you, you know. Very rich universe. Obviously, it's been going on since the 70s, but even with like just like Dave Filoni stuff with like the Clone Wars or whatever, we got a lot of things that were tying it in with like conversations from Bo, or you know, just like being in or on Mandalore, you know, and just a lot of stuff in general. Because like in the like, so like the extended universe and stuff of things that I've experienced, it's always spoken about. Do you know what I mean? Mandalorians have always been like scattered because of like the Jedi Purge or whatever and stuff, you know. So it's really nice, really cool. Just can't speak highly over now. Can't speak highly enough of it. Okay, so like Boba Fett episode 5, which should have just been its own. That's my cat. It should have just been its own thing and just Boba Fett, but obviously they wanted the Mandalorian in to help with the finale, so that's cool. But like 5 was like just Mandalorian episode. Do you know what I mean? So sweet Jesus, Jake, what are you doing, bud? Come on. So yeah. So what was I saying? So it should have been just the Mandalorian's episode, right? It was just the Mandalorian's episode. It should have just been Boba Fett's. So anyway, so that kind of set up like why we're here. Plus, generally, just like his whole attitude from season 1 of like following the creed and being like quite devout to his creed, you know. And then obviously things happen where he gets like more attachment. Cause, I don't know. I don't know like how his childhood was and stuff. Obviously, like trauma happened, and he doesn't like droids and stuff. But he talks about like how the Mandalorians are different from the Jedi and that they don't believe in solidarity, even though they do. But like emotionally, do you know what I mean? It's more like solidarity for whatever. But they're like, okay, well, we're family and stuff, you know. So I would say like generally maybe, but like personally with Grogu, he's like let him in. It's different. That's why he takes his helmet off, and then that's obviously why we get this whole arc of where we are now. And it sets it up beautifully. I can't lie. I like the second I did hear like, oh, somebody's got to tame the mythosaur. I did think, okay, well, we've got like a smaller version of this with Boba Fett riding the Rancor, right? So I thought, okay, maybe try a little bit something different. We'll just go bigger and better. That's fine. Okay, cool. Either way, I'm happy. I'm really happy. So like it's episode 5, the flashbacks that they have, and not the flashbacks, like the previously on, very much heavily teased the mythosaur, as does reading the the little plaque in the caves and the mines. So we got like a episode 1 tie-in as well, with obviously going back to Mos Eisley, but specifically on Boonta Eve, which is around the time that Anakin got freed, I believe, because it was the Boonta Eve race where Qui-Gon, like, it was a whole Grand Prix situation in the pod racing. I think that's when Qui-Gon placed the bets. So that was really quite cool. Peli Motto is amazing. Honestly, I I don't even think of her as an actress at this point. I genuinely just think of her as some little old lady on Tatooine, like just handling her business and pulling scams. She's phenomenal. In the way that she talks to the droids, the Jawas, her what is it Jawanese? However she speaks Jawa wonderfully. Just full credit to her, honestly. Can't praise her enough. The scam she pulls, honestly, is hilarious, especially like with the Jawas. Love R5D4. I did get a little bit backwards with the numbers, because obviously you got R2D2, but then R4 was Obi-Wan's astromech. See, this is the thing. Obviously, like R4, R2D2 was obviously from episode 2, but the 4, but then we get him like way before, like he was in episode 1 on the Naboo stuff, right? And then we get R4 in episode 2, and then it's really funny because I would say, like, because the design is like obviously very like 70s or 80s and stuff, but I would say the R2D2 looks better than R5. But like, if you think about it logically, that's later on in the series of what's being released and stuff, you know. I just want to take a second as well to say that I genuinely think that we take for granted now how amazing everything looks. Like just all of the CGI, all of the planets that we keep exploring on everything, all the sci-fi stuff. Like, obviously, like everything looked great back as then as well, but that would have been like paintings and stuff, and it would have been like just as phenomenal to see and just as phenomenal to make. But excuse me, it just looked amazing, and just the depth that was allowed to be put in it, I think it's tremendous. So Mandalore was good. Seeing Mandalore was nice. Interesting seeing like the whole atmospheric disturbances. And I'm glad I watched it a second time as well, because if you look at Bo's face on the way down, like she goes through a range of emotions during the descent while she's in the atmospheric disturbance, and then gets to the planet and then sees that it's just been laid to waste, as she knows. But there's like a level of excitement that comes on her, obviously because she's returning home. But it did like lead me to think, well, was there like an atmosphere generally on the planet? And I don't think there was. I think that is like from the whole fusion thing. Okay, so we take a look around and we see the phenomenal team that is Din and Grogu, and I can't help but notice that it feels like he pressurized his helmet like a little bit late. Like, you're already out of the damn ship. Why are you now pressurizing your helmet? But whatever. Grogu, it like Din had some great stuff at the start, but it was more like, for me, it felt like more Grogu and Bo's episode. So Grogu had a great episode. He stepped up to the plate and he was very brave. Like, got scared of all the different Adamites, but then fought some of them. Loved seeing him in his little armor, which is obviously taking us back to Boba Fett as well, or Boba Fett. So I said before, like, Din was sedated, which like led to Grogu having his moment, which then brought Bo back to the episode. And like I was saying last week, so my mate Liam was like, okay, so she's a badass. She sat there being a badass and whatever. And I felt that she was just being like a petulant child. And either way, it like kind of works very well to see that either way, like she's come from her power pose and then she's come into being like really strong and fighting like an absolute badass. Um, and having some wonderful moments on the way and after rescuing Din as well. Um, we had an interesting droid, which sounded like a transformer. So it was a bit of an interesting little villain. Not in so much in what he was doing, if you just sit and think about what he is and how he got to where he is. That was more the interesting part for me, really. But yeah, we had beautiful moments between Bo and Din when she's talking about Mandalore and her father and things like that. When he's about to retake the creed or recite it again, and between Din and Grogu and Bo and Grogu, like just between everybody really. Seeing R5's like anxiety about everything and then having to watch them as they go just to make sure was really cute. So the thing at the end, is on what I'm really interested in, is who's gonna tame the mythosaur, right? Because like the kid in the episode 1, he didn't finish his oath, right? So and then Din didn't finish his oath either. So I wonder if it's gonna be like third time lucky, and then somebody gets to finish it. We're gonna wait and see. Is he gonna say it after he tames the mythosaur, or is it gonna be like Bo? But either way, right, and this is the thing, right? So I haven't like read anything like extended for the First Order kind of like time, right? And I don't know, because like I was saying before with like Navarro, and then now Mandalore, like they're doing all of this work, but then like the Empire 2.0 might come along and just lay waste to everything, and then all of the work is for naught. Or it could be that like they're setting up something here, and then we get something like post episode 9 in a show or in a movie that gives us these civilizations and communities like rebuilt and vibrant again. That'd be really cool. Okay, so let me know what you liked about the episode. I'm Let me know in the comments who you think is going to be taming the mythosaur. Are they going to give it to the Mandalorian because he's the main character? Are they going to be giving it to Bo because everybody wants her to reunite Mandalorian? That's her objective. I think Din's just more about doing him and Grogu. I mean, obviously serving as part of the community where needed, but I don't know. So far, he hasn't shown anything that says I want to be a leader of our people. You know, something else as well was like a key thing for that for me was how he talks about his people. Okay, and I'm pretty sure it's still true of the Mandalorians, but when they go and they fight people, they like to fight people, keeps them strong, right? So when they go and challenge people or fight people, they take people. And when they win, they take people as prisoners. I say prisoners. They take them on and bring them into their community and raise them Mandalorian and have them Mandalorian and indoctrinate them. And there's no like differentiating between them. You know what I mean? You're all Mandalorian. So I found it very interesting when Din said that everybody can trace their roots back to here. So yeah, wonderful episode. Great start to the season. Incredibly strong. It started strong. We're keeping strong, and we're going to see in episode 3 how we get on, and it's going to be quite action packed. I think, at least the start has to be right. It's probably going to be like a twofold mission. It's probably going to be like the initial confrontation is going to be like we're going to have to go and come back maybe. Or they handle it straight away, and then it's a case of, right, how do we let everybody know that we've got this? And then now I'm basically the boss again, when she already was the boss, or she was already the boss, and then he would now be the boss. So yeah, thank you very much for stopping by. I'm going to be working on the Flash review now, because I've already seen the episode, and it was it was interesting to say the bare minimum. So yeah, we'll get onto that now, right, and I'll see you guys later.